Hello, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Signs, and Cross Watchers. This is your tarot reading for the week ahead whenever you're finding this. If you're watching along as I post because you're subscribed, this is for the week of November 17th through the 23rd, 2025. Today we're going to use 6 cards, 2 rows of 3 from the Philly Tarot to celebrate the Philly Marathon on the 23rd, which I'll be running in. So if you are in the area and want to come see me suffer, tag along, I guess. First card out for you, Virgo. We have the King of Swords upright. You have a very intellectual and I don't know why, I just wanted to use the word yappy, very talkative, loquacious individual connecting to your energy at this time, Virgo. This could be a man, could be older than you, doesn't have to be. This is somebody who has a lot to say about a lot of different subjects, and it's definitely like one of the first words that may come into your mind when you think of this person is intelligent. So you may be connecting with somebody like that who can be a very positive influence over your life. I feel like this person is very inspirational. Now, I want to pause and say this can certainly be somebody who you're connecting to in real life, but for some of you guys watching, this could even be someone whose intelligence and wisdom and medicine you're really working with at this time. So for example, this could even be like an author or a public speaker or some sort of motivational energy as well. And it also doesn't have to be a man per se. But yeah, they could have some predominant air placements. So that would be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Okay. We have the Hanged Man coming out upright with the Liberty Bell. Interesting. There's a lot of wisdom in rest and stillness and not constantly pushing forward. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to not do anything at all. Sometimes the most productive thing for you is stillness, and meditation is a fantastic example of this. You know, meditation, time and time again in various studies and just human experience in general, is some of the most potent soul and emotional and sometimes physical medicine that you can give yourself. Literally just sitting and enjoying just being present. And as these thoughts pop up, and I'm going to explain this every time this subject comes up because I keep getting comments, positive comments about this. A lot of people think that they meditate incorrectly because when they go to just sit and focus on breathing and existing, they have all these thoughts popping up. But that is meditation. So you have the thoughts pop up in your mind and you acknowledge the thoughts, and then you sort of just like push them away, say thank you for, popping up, acknowledge the thought, and then release it, and then refocus back onto your breathing. Okay, recenter your focus back onto breathing. And then another thought's gonna pop up, and you're gonna repeat that process a lot. A bunch of thoughts are popping up, right? And that's why so many people think that they're doing it wrong, because they're like, I just can't stop thinking. That is what meditation is. You're doing it very correctly. And that's the thing. It's like when you have all these thoughts popping up, when you go through that process of acknowledging it, releasing it, returning back to breath, you're essentially clearing those thoughts away and training yourself to be present no matter what's going on around you, no matter all the crazy things going on in your head. And I like to think of it as like clearing the cache. How do you pronounce that? On computers, you're just sort of clearing that all away, returning back to center. So you are meditating correctly, all right? And if it takes you sometimes it takes me like 25 minutes to get to a place where I finally stop having those thoughts pop up so much. If you don't meditate that often, it can take you longer to get to that spot. But then if you do it more frequently, it'll take shorter and shorter. So, and that just means you have a lot to clear away. That's not a bad thing. You're doing a good thing. You're doing it correctly. So like I said, sometimes the most productive thing you can do is nothing at all. We have Judgment coming out in reverse. So important to note that this week is happening in the middle of Mercury retrograde. And Judgment is definitely a card about revisiting past concepts and ideas. Sometimes people, but everybody and their mother's like, oh, your ex is going to talk to you again during Mercury retrograde. I don't give two craps about that. This could be you like revisiting an old hobby project, like your old boss calling you up, like, we have a job opening, you know, it could be anything like that. Now, when Judgment comes out in reverse, you're saying F no. Absolutely not. We will not be revisiting that. Thank you very much. But screw yourself. Goodbye. Hanging up the phone, you know? So there could be some sort of second try that you give something, and then you're immediately like, yep, now I remember why I said no to that in the first place. Or this could be someone or something coming in trying to get a second try out of you, and you're just like, I'm not even going to go down that path in the first place. So there's definitely a no answer that you're dishing out at some point this week to something, someone, that you give it like a second go, or they want a second go. Or this could even be you making the decision to just give up on something and scrap something, you know? Like, for example, sometimes I have a whole bunch of half-finished art projects lying around my house. Sometimes I'll just go through it and admit to myself, like, I'm never gonna finish this, and I'll just burn it in a fire. And it does something cool. It like clears away like a little bit of that like mental I don't know, that mental pressure of like having a half-finished project. So some of you guys may be scrapping something, like scrapping a project, saying, you know what, let's just cut our losses. I'm not finishing this ever. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have the Chariot in reverse coming out here. All right. This can talk about your comfort zone starting to feel a little bit too comfortable. Let's see what comes out next to that. 5 of Pentacles. Okay, it's that feeling of lack or being left out in the cold, or I'm getting a little bit of like stir crazed energy. Some of you guys may be thinking to yourself like, man, I really need to go explore a new area or talk to new people. You could be getting this sense of like this sort of inner calling to just sort of incorporate some fresh energies and perspective into your life. And especially if you've lived where you live currently for long enough to the point where it's like you've visited every park, you've eaten at all the restaurants, you feel like you've pretty much met everyone you were supposed to meet in that area. You know, sometimes you have this like itching to just go somewhere else or experience something new. And that would definitely be supported at this time. For sure. Also, if you need help in any area of life, I recommend just reaching out and asking for it, okay? Now's the time to lean into community. We have the 2 of Swords coming out upright as your final card out. This shows choosing peace, continuing to choose peace. I love this for you because, you know, Virgo, you've gone through it these past couple of months, for sure. Things have been very, very tough for Virgo energy people, having to say goodbye to a few loved ones, or set very strong boundaries in your relationships. You know, what else did we see in Virgo energy? Like really unpacking a lot of mental health things these past few months for you. So I'm really actually happy to see the 2 of Swords in your reading because it shows you continuing to choose peace. Some of you may be acknowledging to yourself, like, I'm not ready to stir the pot too much. You know, I want to continue making sure that my peace and my emotional regulation is in check. And sometimes what that means is not taking on too much all of the sudden, you know, incorporating things very slowly. So for example, when you have cats, if you're going to change their dry food, you do it incrementally. So for example, if you feed your cat a cup of dry food every day and you're trying to switch over to the new food, you would maybe give them 3/4 a cup of the original food and then mix that in with like 1/4 a cup of the new food, and then day by day sort of switch it over so that way it doesn't upset their tummies, right? Well, humans are very much like that. We're sensitive little creatures, and any sort of big life shift, it's actually nice to take it peacefully and not overdo it, not overwork yourself. Something I've learned recently in my athletic training, for example, is if you take on too much too soon, you end up injuring yourself, okay? Whether that is physically, whether that's emotionally, or relationally, anything. It's like, let's go low and slow. Let's very slowly embrace the slowness of it, slowly building trust in relationships, relationships, slowly incorporating something more physically demanding if you're like training for anything, slowly taking on healthier habits, you know. Whereas if you go balls to the wall, everything all at once, the chances of that sticking are very slim. My favorite thing to do when incorporating big life changes is to give myself like 3 weeks, 21 days, to just incorporate new habits into my comfort zone, or incorporate removing a bad habit from my comfort zone. Okay. So for example, what example? I changed my palate and I stopped eating as much added sugars. So that was like the only new thing I focused on for like 3 weeks, was just no added sugar in anything. And it really took a lot out of me to do that. So I'm glad that was the only thing I focused on. Or like if you're trying to quit drinking soda, it's like for 3 weeks straight, don't try to like also quit cigarettes and also, you know, try doing this and that at the same time. It's like, this is my habit. I am going to remove it from my life. I'm going to switch over to, you know, maybe seltzer water or whatever. But that's what I'm going to change. And being very kind and gentle with ourselves during these changes, I just think it really increases the chance of success. And that's the wisdom here for you this week. It's sometimes more productive to move slowly, to be still, to be restful, than it is to try to do everything all at once and then have everything burn out and fail, you know? So there we go, Virgo. Thank you so much for joining me. Definitely watch for your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs to get the fullest overview of this week ahead. Like this video, comment how it resonated down below, and subscribe if you have not already. And doing those 3 things helps the channel out tremendously. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been getting a little bit more subscribers on this channel, which is very exciting. Spamming the comments in particular, I've noticed, really helps boost these videos to be seen by other people. And for the longest time, you know, I keep telling the other signs, you're in competition with Capricorn, because like 60% of my audience is Capricorn, and the imbalance of it was irking me. So I'm like, everybody please just like do everything you can to boost your sign's video, unless you're watching Capricorn's video. So that way there's more people coming to your sign. And it's been working. It's been working, Virgo. Actually, I noticed a lot new Virgo placements have joined. So welcome if you're new here. I appreciate you all. I do eventually read all of the comments you guys leave. Sometimes it takes me a few weeks. Sometimes it takes me a few months to read them all. But I am here, and I love every single one of you, and I love the stories you share, the positive energy, the support you guys give each other in the comments. It's just so beautiful. So I'm happy to continue growing. I actually think, Virgo, y'all might be in line to become the most popular sign on this channel. So I'm very excited for that. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.